In this video, I'm going to go over Unit 4, which is our last unit. So we run from March 22nd through April 19th. So that is actually, we do have one class after that, and that is when the extra credit is due if you choose to do the extra credit. So that is April 25th, and then I'm asking that if anyone is going to submit extra credit, that you would have that turned in by 6 o'clock on April 25th. All right, so in Unit 4, we have a couple things going on here. So we have Project 4, which is a mixed media, and I'll go over the details of that. And then Project 5 has two parts. So Project 5, Part A, is an artist research presentation. So you'll choose a fine artist and then do a little research on that individual and put your findings into a presentation. And then lastly here, Project 5, Part B, is a digital illustration. And what that is, you would scan one of the projects that you created in this class and then bring it into Photoshop or Illustrator and either put filters on it or effects, or you could vectorize it. It's totally up to you how you approach this. It's simply just giving you an opportunity to bring color into a project that you had created in this class, and I don't know, just to have a kind of a unique presentation of that particular project that you choose. All right, so let's go ahead and go into Unit 4. There are no LinkedIn learnings, no reading assignments, no sketch exercises. We are just working on these projects. So you can see the timeline here for Project 4, and then also the due dates for Project 5, Part A and Part B. I do have a Padlet. I'm asking you, I'm calling it Best Pick, that you would choose what you feel to be your most successful project in this class, and then also you'll choose what you feel to be your best sketch exercise, and then you'll just post those in a Padlet. Each one of those will have to go into their own posting. All right, so Project 4, mixed media. The subject matter is it's produce, so that means either vegetables or fruit. So the project sheet is inside of this folder. All right. You have some choices here. So both of the choices, of course, involve the produce, meaning that either the fruit or vegetables. But the choice factor is the media that you choose to use. So media choice number 1, you could use colored markers and colored pencils, and of course you would do that on marker paper. Anytime you use colored markers, you always want to use the marker paper. Your second option would be watercolor paints, and then when that dries, go over it with colored pencil. And because of dealing with watercolor, you would need to purchase some watercolor paper. And that can be purchased in single individual sheets at an art supply. So those are the two options, or the two choices in dealing with Project 4. So what we're doing here is you're going to render fruits or vegetables. You may choose to do both, but the whole idea here, or the challenge part of the project, is to show two views. So you would have view 1, and then you would give also include in your illustration the second view, which probably would include the interior of that item. And you can see a couple of examples here with the onion and with the apples. So the apples actually has 3 views, that's fine. The size of the project is 10 by 10. The requirement, you must show at least 2 views of your subject matter. And so it's all about how you position the different views, kind of how they relate to each other in a composition. You don't necessarily have to do anything with the background. You may want your subject matter to be resting on a surface, such as a table but you want to keep the focus on the produce items. Okay, so that's pretty much an overview of Project 4. It's 60 points, 5 to 8 thumbnails. Please number them. And we all know the routine here. You'll be creating a rough layout, full size, no color. So it's either in black pencil. You may want to use a black pen just to get a little bit of a darker line. And then again, the finished size is 10 by 10. I do have some information dealing with watercolors in this folder right here. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. All right, so that is Project 4. I'm calling it Mixed Media Produce. Here are the wikis for uploading the files, okay? Next area is Project 5, Part A, Artist Research Presentation. Okay, so we're 30 points. What you're doing is choosing an artist. It does not have to be one of these classical artists that I've listed here, okay? Dates of the artist's life. This is some of the information that you would include in your presentation. Where did the artist live? Where did they, where did they do their work? That type of thing. What was their art background? If you're able to find out that information. Maybe they were part of a particular art movement. If that's the case, identify that. Who influenced them as an artist? Identify their styles. That would be your own thought and opinion. Identify the type of media that they used, and then show 4 or more examples of the artist's work. Of course, cite your resources. So we have a requirement of 8 to 10 slides, and counted in that would be the title slide, would be part of that 8 to 10, and then also your source slide at the end of your presentation. All right, so that is the artist research. And you can put that in any presentation software, but I am asking you to upload a PDF, okay? So really, when it comes down to it, I'm leaving the software up to you, in which you're putting your findings with your fine artist. All right, so here's the wiki for you to upload that file. I do ask that you upload a PDF. You do not have to critique that, whereas you will need to critique with Project 4, the mixed media. You will need to critique, and I will put the assignment links beneath each stage of the project to allow you to confirm that you have critiqued your classmates' work. All right, and then Project 5, Part B, digital illustration. So what you're doing here is choosing one of the projects that you created in this class and then scanning it. Scanning would be the best situation. It needs to be digitized. So, normally a scanner is used. If you were to want to take a photo, you will need to really control your environment with proper lighting. You'll need to photograph the project directly above, so the camera would have to be directly above the work, and then of course no camera shake, to get the clearest image. That's what we're after there. All right, so the project sheet, so this is Project 5 Part B. You are choosing a project, and you're going to either you could apply filters from Photoshop on it, or you could bring it into Illustrator and apply effects to it, or if you wanted to, you could vectorize it by bringing it into Illustrator and actually recreating it using the vector feature of Illustrator. So the way you approach this, it's totally up to you. I do have examples, so please review the files that I have posted. All right, so be sure to review all of these project sheets. I'm kind of just barely touching on them. If there would be someone in the class that does not have Adobe products, Adobe does provide a free trial, which is, I believe, 7 days, where it's free. And I think I have a link posted for that. All right, I don't have any samples on this document, but you can see Project 5, Part B, digital illustration is for 60 points. All right, I have a folder here, some examples. So Skittles, so this would be, let's say, of course, the colored pencil, and then you can see just some effects that were applied to it. And then again, the rendering on the left of the colored pencils, and then this probably was done in Photoshop, as I mentioned earlier. You could do this project in either Illustrator or Photoshop. And lastly, colored pencil of the candy, the sucker, and then you can see I did identify what the filter or effect is, so that'll be maybe helpful. And the glowing edges is kind of fun. So you could approach this project using filters or effects from either Photoshop or Illustrator, or, as I had mentioned before, you could recreate your drawing, your project from this class, and vectorizing it. So basically, it could be an image trace, or you could actually redraw the project, using the pen tool or the pencil tool. All right. I did post previous student work. It's loading a little slow here. If you have any questions about any of these projects, please reach out to me. All right. So there's actually, this looks like a 3D project, and then it was scanned, digitized. This is a project which I'm sure you're all familiar with. So the hidden objects, and then this was vectorized in Illustrator. Again, a colored pencil project, and you can see probably done in Illustrator. I think it was. Again, the hidden object project. This may have been Photoshop, painted in Photoshop. Another one, there's the traditional, and then there's the recreation, digital illustration. Probably this was done in Photoshop. So either you can just apply effects or filters, or you can recreate your project bringing in color, which some of you mentioned that you were kind of wanting to do that. And then you can see I have some resources here in case you've not worked in Photoshop with doing this type of thing. I have a link for a LinkedIn Learning, and then I have some YouTube's filters in Photoshop. And then here is a link to Adobe with that, talking about the free trial. All right. And then I did want to just mention, if anyone is interested in submitting a project from this class into the Student Design Show, why don't you reach out to me and we can just kind of go over things. And I am providing extra credit of 20 points if you choose to do that. I did post a video kind of going over the process a little, well, more so just an overview of the whole event. I think I might have lightly touched on how you upload items to submit them into the show. But if anyone's considering submitting for the show, please reach out to me. All right, very good. Have a good one.